Some speeches, they just really stay with you. And this one by George P. Kansas from the Stowe Weekend of Hope, well, this is one of those speeches.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
raw and personal, but it's also like universally relatable at the same time.
Absolutely. He brings together like his personal fight with leukemia, the importance of community, and this really powerful mountain metaphor.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like he brings you along on this journey with him right from the start. He keeps saying we've been through something. And it's like more than just words. It's this instant connection.
Right? Like he sees you, he gets it. You're not alone in this. Which is, I think, especially huge when you're dealing with something like cancer, something that can feel so isolating. But then he goes in this really interesting direction, talking about how during his treatment, he had to kind of learn to be selfish.
Yeah, that got me too. Because it's like we're always told to put others first, right?
Yeah,
But he completely changes how we see that idea.
he does. It's like self-care is a necessity, not a luxury. And I love that he actually uses the word selfish.
Here.
No dancing around it.
Exactly. And he's pushing back against that expectation that we should just keep giving and giving, even when we have nothing left. It's like
Yeah.
you can't pour from an empty cup,
So true. Which kind of brings us to that core image he uses, that mountain metaphor.
Yeah.
What do you think he's getting at there?
Well, to me, it's like the mountain represents that inner strength we all have in us somewhere. Like all our experiences, the good and the bad, they build up like layers on a mountain. It's that core strength that gets us through.
But it's bigger than just us.
Yeah.
Right? It's about more than just individual strength.
You got it. He makes this link between the mountain and community and that support system that helps us through tough times. It's a reminder that like, hey, we're not meant to carry all this weight by ourselves.
It's that thing where it's like having a hiking buddy on a hard trail, right? You're still putting in the work, but having someone there with you, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, and that shared experience, that feeling of we're in this together, it almost becomes part of the mountain itself. It becomes this collective strength. And, it's interesting how he connects that shared strength to, well, he calls it bringing light to the dark places.
Yeah, that phrase, it really sticks with you. So much there. Like you can take it, literally he talks about bringing electricity to those villages, right?
Right, exactly. But then it becomes this metaphor for something way deeper, like shining a light on those parts of ourselves, our communities, even the world, that feel kind of hopeless.
It's like we all have this inner light, this ability to bounce back and have hope. And when we share it, it like spreads outward.
And that's where that mountain idea comes back so strong. It's not just about, look at me, I found my strength. It's like he's saying, hey, we all have this mountain inside. And when we share that, when we help each other through those dark times, that's how we all become more resilient together.
Totally. And then he takes this whole thing even further, connecting it to something kind of unexpected, right? Prayer.
Yeah, he talks about how his faith, like believing in something bigger than himself, it helped him get through his cancer. And he even talks about specific things like ceremonies with shamans, a Lakota chief, stuff that's really personal and, well, not what you'd expect, but it clearly meant a lot to him.
It's like he found this whole other level of strength, of healing, by tapping into those old traditions, the stuff that's been connecting people for like centuries.
Yeah, and what gets me is how he brings it all back to that mountain. It's like those practices, they're not about running away from the tough stuff, but about finding the strength to face it head on.
It's like bringing that mountain with us wherever we go, right? Not just the physical place, but like emotionally, spiritually, taking that strength into the hard times.
Exactly. He even uses that great example of the rain dance, right? He says the reason it works is they don't stop dancing till it rains. It's that commitment, that never give up attitude, even when things are tough.
Which, when you really think about it, that's like a metaphor for life in general, isn't it? We all go through stuff, but it's that hope, that inner strength that keeps us going. And it's not about pretending everything's okay, right? Like he's not trying to downplay the fact that life can be rough.
Nope, not at all. He owns it, It's like those tough times, they become part of our mountain too. They kind of shape us, test us, and we come out stronger, hopefully.
Yeah. He even talks about like bringing that light inside ourselves, literally saying we're whole and complete, even when things are falling apart. That's kind of deep.
Right. It's like recognizing how much we're worth, our own ability to heal and be whole, even when we don't feel it, And that goes back to that self-care thing, letting ourselves take care of ourselves so we can be there for others too.
So it all kind of feeds back,
Right.
right? We find that strength inside, then there's our support system, and then we use all that to help others Bring that light to them when they need it.
Exactly. And that's the point he leaves you with, right? It's not enough to just see that mountain inside, but actually sharing it, making a difference somehow.
And I love that he uses that image of him back in the hospital praying over his medicine. It's like, no matter how small, you can bring that mountain, that hope, that intention into everything you do.
Totally. It's like putting that resilience, that belief in yourself and in connection into like everything.
This whole speech, this idea of bringing the mountain home, it's really about like taking all you've been through, all you've learned, and using it to make things, I don't know, a little better, a little more hopeful. So for you, what really stuck with you?
I think for me, it's that reminder that you don't got to have it all figured out to make a difference. We all have stuff, our own mountains, but it's in those tough moments when we're struggling, that's when we actually find our strength, both on our own and with each other.
He reminds us, like, we're not in this alone, right? We got each other, we got those things we do, those traditions, our communities, and most importantly, that spirit inside us, that resilience, what he calls the mountain. So what about you? What's your mountain and how we can bring it home?